Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's DAF, Maseches Bava Metzia DAF Yud. We are holding on Yud Amud Aleph, 10 lines from the top. Rav Nachman, V'Rav Chizda, they both say, the Amrit Havai, they both tell us, Hamagbia Metzia L'Chaveroi L'Kana Chaveroi. If Reuven picks up a Metzia, a lost item, without intention to acquire it for himself, rather, he wants to do his friend Shimon a favor. He picks it up for him. It doesn't work. Lo yikana chaver. You know why? My time, why? Havei teifes l'bal chayv. The Gemara will use a metaphor, a marshal here. It's like, you know what it's like? When I pick up a mitzvah for somebody else, so in a way I'm doing him a favor, but you know what else you're doing? You're depriving anybody else who can take this thing. You're depriving them of that opportunity. So in a way you're helping your friend, but you're doing something which is to the detriment of other people. Can you do that? No. It's like a case where, let's say, Reuven borrowed money from several people. Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Comes this fellow Yisachar, notices that Reuven has a nice car. So knowing that he owes Shimon money, he says, you know what, I'm going to repossess, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to snatch this possession, this car, for my friend Shimon, who's a Bal Chayv, who's a creditor, who lent him money. Can I do that? Can I go step in and grab something, teifes, right? Grab something for a Bal Chayv, for my friend Shimon, who's a Bal Chayv. But by doing so, I'm creating a situation which results in actually a chayv. It's something negative. It has a negative result on other individuals, and the other creditors who now don't have this opportunity no longer. You're taking away their ability to collect. Can I do that? No, I can't do that. I have no right to do that. Have a teifes l'bal chayv. You're grabbing for the sake of a bal chayv, but it's in a situation where it's bad for other people. Other people will experience loss because of this. You can't do that. Right? So this is comparable. Picking up a mitzvah for my friend and blocking everybody else out is comparable to a teifes l'bal chayv b'makom shechav l'cherim, and the halach is v'teifes l'bal chayv b'makom shechav l'cherim. Does it work? No, like it doesn't work. Rashi says you have no business doing it because, you know, he didn't ask your friend Shimon the Bal Chayv, didn't make you a shliach. It sounds from Rashi that if he would make you a shliach, you can do that. Taisus disagrees, takes issue with that. Brings a right from Gemara Ksubas that even if the Bal Chayv, your friend the Bal Chayv, asked you to do it for him, you can't do that. The Torah does not empower you to go mix into other people's business in a situation where it's going to harm other people. Comes Rav and asks a kasha. Really? I can't choose to pick up a mitzvah for my friend? Mitzvah is poel la'atzmai. Poel is a worker, Jewish worker. He finds something on the day of his, of his work. He keeps it. Bameh dvarim amurim. When is that true? Bizman she'amar lei ba'al habayis, when the employer gave him specific roles, specific jobs. Nakesh imi ayoyim, weed for me today. Ador imi ayoyim, plow, dig, right? Do my landscaping for me today. So he gave him specific jobs. This wasn't included. Picking up a mitzvah is not part of the day's work. So now the poel can just keep that. Of course, Rashi says he has to deduct whatever time it took to pick up the mitzvah. That gets deducted from his salary. But the actual item belongs to the poel. But if the employer hired him for any type of work for me today, whatever I give you, any job, right? So here, if you find something on the street, it belongs to the employer because any pu'ula, any work, any activity belongs, is meant to benefit. It's paid for. It's meant to benefit the employer. It's paid for. Bottom line, we have a Jewish worker picking up a mitzvah for the Jewish employer. How could he do that? Amalesi responded, A poil is different. Shani poil, the yodik yad balabayis, his hand is representative of the owner's hand. So he's like an extension of the owner. He's working for him. He's not an independent person at this point. His work relates to the owner. But doesn't Rav tell us that the worker can just quit? He's not committed. Even midday, he can just turn around and quit. Apparently he's not bound to the owner, or at least he says like this. Before he quits, he is bound to the owner. He can quit, but until then, his activities relate to the owner. Before he quits, so his hand is like the yad of the balabayis, and therefore it's as though the owner picked up the Metzia. Sure, if he decides to turn around and quit, that's for a different reason. That doesn't mean that until now he wasn't bound. Until now he was, but the Torah allows him an exit hatch, an escape route. Torah says, Hashem says, Klal Yisrael are my servants. They're my servants. Avadayhem. We're not meant to be servants to servants, meaning you can't own another yid. He can work for you, but he's not bound to you, forever. He's not your slave. To the extent that you can just hold on to him against his wishes. So you can turn around and quit, but until he quits, he's not like a stranger, he's my worker. It's paid for, it's hired work, it's an activity that relates, that identifies with the owner, and therefore, if he picks up a Metzia, it belongs to me. So according to Rav Nachman and Rav Chizda, just a plain stranger cannot pick up a Metzia for his friend. But a Poil is different. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, he disagrees. You can pick up a Metzia for your friend. So what about our Mishnah? Right, the fellow was riding a horse, notices a Metzia, asks his friend down there to pick it up for him. It would seem that he did pick it up for the horse rider, and then he changed his mind. I want to keep it. Mishnah says he keeps it. Why? If Magbia Metzia l'chaveroi kana chaveroi, how could the other fellow decide to keep it? The answer is the Amar Tzneli, because he just asked him to give it to him. The horse rider instructed him to pass it over to him. Rather than saying, be zeiche for me, make the kinyan for me, he didn't tell him that. If he would have told him that, of course it would work, but he just said, pass it on to me. So when the fellow picked it up, it wasn't automatically transferred to the horse rider. There was no kinyan for the horse rider at that point. So at that point you can turn around and say, I want to keep it. Says the Mishnah, Ra'a esa Metzia. A fellow is walking down the street and he notices a Metzia, a lost item, v'nafal le'ani, jumps on it. Uba achar ve'echzik bo. Comes another fellow and grabs the Metzia. Who gets it? Zeh shehechzik bo zachabo. The second fellow who grabbed it keeps it. Amar Rish Lakish, mishum abakoyin bardlo. Here comes an interesting halacha. Arba amois shel adam. 4 amois around the person. So a person standing here, and the 4 amma radius around the person is considered like his private territory, his private domain. Arba amois shel adam koinus le b'chol makom. So that territory is considered like his, and anything found therein is treated as though it's sitting in his backyard, and he's koina with a kinyan chotzer. Okay, so let's say if you're standing right here, you sort of draw like a circle around him, right? So perhaps it's 2 amas in each direction, right? So a total of 4 amas, right? So a circle with a diameter of 4 amas is his domain. My time. Why? How? Why does it work? Based on what? Says the Gemara, it's a special takanas rabbanon. Takin rabbanon deloi laisi lentsuye. Chachamim wanted to avoid any sort of discontent and quarreling. Oh, it's right here, it's mine. What are you doing grabbing it? So they said, look, if it's within your territory, within your 4 amas, actually, I just noticed the Rush, he says that the Arba Amis is really a total of 8 by 8, because it's 4 Amis in each direction. Interesting. The Rush B'Shem, the Raz Halevi. Okay, in any case, the point is to avoid the machlekes. Everybody has his territory, and whatever is here is mine, keep away from it. Right? You can't be kind of once I was kind of through this arba amis. Deloi laisi lensuyi. We shouldn't come to machlekes. Amar Abaye. Moisir Rav Chia bar Yosef Peah. Rav Chia bar Yosef asked a kasha on this concept from a Mishnah in Peah, where we seem to ignore this idea of Dalad Amis. Number one. Number two, Amar Rava, Moisir Rav Yaakov bar Idi Nezikin. Rav Yaakov bar Idi asked a kasha from a Mishnah in Nezikin. Mishnah in Bava Metzia, our Mishnah. We'll see in a minute. Okay, let's start from the first one. Amar Abaye. Moisir Rav Chia bar Yosef Peah. He asked a kasha from a Mishnah in Peah. This non. Mishnah says, Notal mitzas peya v'zorach al hashar. Poor man enters the field. He sees some of the peya material intended for the poor people. It takes a bit, and he tosses it on the rest, thinking that that's going to sort of, make it his. Ein lo yiba klum. So we take it all away from him. He loses everything. That's not the way to. It's not a way to do things, right? You want to go over it and pick it. You can't just go and toss things from far away and try to snatch it from other people, right? Try to beat other people to it. That's not a way to do it. He jumps on it, he falls on it. Peres talisi aleh, he puts his garment on it. Same idea. That's not the way to do it. Right? Pick it up manually, a little bit at a time. You're trying to chop the whole thing. Peres talisi aleh ma'avir oisay himena. We remove him and all his things from the peah and we take it away. V'chein ba'im hashikha. And the same idea applies to a forgotten bundle, shikha, which typically goes to the poor people. You want it, pick it up manually. Don't, try to, hoard it. That's the Mishnah. What do you mean? What happened to Dalad Amois? The Amois arba Amois shel adam koinish lebachol makam. So you tell me that the arba Amois can be koina for a person, wherever it is, niknu le arba Amois today. Forget about the fact that he jumped on it and he threw. It's within his 4 amud, area. Let it be his because of that. Hachab Ma'askidon answers the Gemara. We're speaking to Omar Akni. He didn't say Akni that I want to be kind with the Arba Amis formula. Therefore, he doesn't get it. What do you mean? If you eat tikkun Rabbanon, once Rabbanon established, they could be kind in this manner. Who cares if he didn't say it? It's like any other kinyan. No, says the Gemara, here it's different. Typically, he doesn't have to express it. But here he indicated otherwise. He indicated that he found another way to make a kinyan. Kiven the nafal, since he lied down on it, gali daite. By doing so, he indicated the benefila nicha le'denikni, that he chose to be kind of through nefila, grabbing it like that, right? He don't want to use he don't want to take advantage, he don't want to utilize the arba ames system. So so then he's not tapping into that, and it doesn't work. That's one pshat. Rav Papa Amar, it's a matter of location. Ki tikinu le'arbon arba ames. When do Rabbana give a person arba amis ba'alm? Somewhere out there, like a public area, Rashi says, like a side street. Right? Or maybe in the street itself. Right? So it's a place where anybody has access, anybody has use, fine. But the sada that belongs to a balabayis, the whole point of Dalad Ames is to avoid machlekes. So would it make sense to give you arba Ames privileges in somebody else's place? All right? A contradiction in terms. It's going to create. So there we don't have arba Ames. Here we're speaking that he's entering somebody's field. So there's no concept of arba Ames. Continues the Gemara. We have a kasha on that. Even though the Torah does give a poor man the rights to access this farm, in limited fashion. Sure, the Torah allows him to access the field, to walk through it, to find the payah, but the Torah doesn't give them the ownership rights in the actual chatzor. So therefore, he cannot we cannot employ the Kinyan Chatzar in the farm here. Amar Rava, so that addresses the first kasha. A person has Dalet Amos. What about the Mishnah and Peah? Well, there it's different because he indicated that he's disinterested in Dalet Amos, or it's the wrong location. Amar Rava Meiser Rav Yaakov Idin Nezikin. Here comes another kasha from a Mishnah and Nezikin. Guess what? Our Mishnah. Bava Metzia, right? V'nafalei aleh. Ubo achse v'echzik bo. Ubo acher v'echzik bo. Zeh shezechzik bo zocha bo. You notice something, you jump on it, somebody else comes and grabs it, he gets it. Why? If a person has the arba amis to make a kinyan, niknulei arba amis today. So the first person who jumped on the metzia, forget about what he did. It was within his territory. Dal amis, let it be his because of that. Answers the Gemara like before. Hachab my skinner was speaking loyama ekne. He didn't indicate. He didn't say that he wants to be kind of a dal amis. Well, once Rabban established it as a form of kinyan, who cares if he didn't say it? Answer is kiven the nafal alei. Once he jumped on it, galidaite. He indicated to us the benefila nichle de nikni ba'arba amis lo nichle de nikni. He wants to do it that way, not with arba amis, and therefore it doesn't work. That's one teretz. Rav Sheshes Amar. Well, again, it's location that matters. When do Rabbanan give you the arba amis ability? In a side street, where the people are not typically present. So it's sort of your area for temporary use, so it's considered like your chatzar and you can be kind of. But b'rshus rabbim, public scene, mula street, the kodachki rabbim, which is meant for public walking, public access. So where the masses are found, it doesn't make sense. Like Tkinu Rabbanan did not make this takana. Rashi says because the whole point is it's your Dalet Amos. Well, there are a million people milling around. It's not personal. It doesn't make sense. What do you mean? How could you say that we're limiting Dalet Amos to only this place or that place? V'chol b'chol makim ka'amar. Remember, Rish Lakish used the term b'chol makim. You have Dalet Amos anywhere, without limitation. Kol makim, when he said that, he didn't mean Muller Street where the crowds are milling. He meant on the side, off to the sides. So you have like the main street, and you have like sort of the sidewalk on the side where it's right near the walls or whatever, where typically people do not walk. So that's called miyuchad for you, and you can use it for Dalet Amos, for kinyan Dalet Amos. Okay, bottom line, we have the first halacha, quoted by Rish Lakish in the name of Abba Kohen Bardula. Chachamim established, to avoid machlekes, they established the concept of kinyan Dalet Amos, and we discussed where and when it works. Here comes the next halacha from the same Manda Omar. Omar Rish Lakish, Mishum Abba Kohen Bardula. Ketana ein lo chotzer ve'ein lo arba amos. So, a ketana, below bas mitzvah, right? A young girl does not have a concept of chotzer, nor the concept of arba amos, which is sort of an off-brand of kinyan chotzer, right? And Rashi points out, let's say the husband who was married to the ketana wants to be megarish, wants to divorce her, and she happened to have a chotzer, and he threw the get into her yard, it doesn't work. Or if she was standing in the street and he threw the get within her 4 amos, it doesn't work. Things that would work by a g'dayla, but not by a ketana. And the point is that by a g'dayla these things work, but not by a ketana. Now the chiddush is that although if you physically hand the get to the isha in her hand, even if she's a ketana, she can be mizgarish. Right? There's no limitation there. But to say that her domain extends into her chatzar, into her arba amos, that not. Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Yana Rabbi Yochanan disagrees with Rish Lakish. Yesh la chatzar, yesh la arba amos. She has the ability to acquire things with her chatzar, with her arba amos. What's the machlekes about? B'mai kamefleki. Mar savar chatzar mishum yodeis rabbi. That's Rabbi Yochanan. Chatzar is sort of a variation of one's hand. Now we don't mean literally hand, I mean, we do mean, but Rashi says, yad can sometimes mean rishus. Your possession. right? Like your hand is part of you. You can possess with your hand. Your hand can actually grab things. Right? So yadai sometimes can denote rishus. Rashi brings a pasuk. Vayikach es kol artzoi mi yadai. Grab the territory from his hands. Hands, literally, it means from his possession, from his dominance. So, according to one shita, which is Rabbi Yechon, the concept of chotzer is really related to yad. It's her domain, right? And therefore, ki hechi di isla yad, just like even iktana has the concept of yad. Rashi says that you could be megarish iktana by giving the get into her hand. Chotzer nami isla. Likewise, she has the concept of chotzer and can acquire things like a get with her chotzer. Chotzer is an off-brand of yad. Umar Sabar, whereas Rish Lakish, who says no, that iktana does not have this ability, he holds chotzer mishum shlichus is rabbi. He holds that chotzer works by way of a totally different concept. Just like you can appoint a shliach to do something for you. I can ask somebody to accept something from me, to buy something from me. Chotzer, despite the fact that it's not a person, it can serve in that same role. It can be a shliach. It can represent the person. And therefore, the shlichus lesla, just like Zaktana, cannot appoint a shliach. Rashi brings a pasuk, right? We learned by Pesach, Carbon Pesach, where they appointed her. Right? It says ish, only an adult, so she can't do that. She can't use her chotzer to make any kinyanim. Asks the Gemara, really? How can you suggest that chotzer is related to shlichus? Mi'iko, Manda Omar. Is anybody that says chotzer mishum shlichus is rabbi? That a chotzer is a form of shlichus? V'atani, you have a brisa regarding a ganav who's caught red-handed. He has to pay double, right? Kefil. And the item was discovered b'yad in his hands. Perhaps only his hands. What about if you found the item in his house, in his backyard, gagoy, chatzerev, karfifa minayin, on his roof, in his yard, in his enclosure, storage area? What about those places? Minayin says, wherever you find it, okay? You discover the stolen item on his roof, that's it, he's guilty, pay double. Now, if you're going to tell me that chotzer mishum shlichus rabbi, that the kinyan chotzer is based on shlichus, actually the interesting, Rashi says that the ganav wasn't just discovered in his gag and his chotzer. Rashi says shem nichnas l'sham v'nal b'fanei l'goyim v'shu chayev. The gag, the chotzer, actually facilitated the theft. What happened was he never picked up the animal. The animal walked into his backyard and he locked the door. So the chotzer actually performed the gneva. He's chayev. Right? So the question is, basically, you're considering him guilty because of something that his chotzer did for him. If you're going to tell me chotzer is a form of a shliach, so what happened here? The backyard of his helped him by stealing for him. So it served in that role. In the avera role, it did a crime for him. Now, you can't have a shliach do a crime for you. The kaimel, we know this for a fact. Ein shliach l'var avera. If a person asks somebody to do an avera for him, and the fellow follows through, right? Who's responsible? Not the mishalayach, not the sender. Who asked you to listen to me? You had a bigger boss over you, Hashem, right? We call it divrei harav, divrei hatalmud. When you have a choice between listening to the master or to the student, who do you listen to? Hashem or the person? Of course Hashem. Divrei mishamin. Who do you listen to? So don't blame it on me. You had the ability to make the right decision, to write bechira. It's your fault, right? If a chotzer is like a shliach, how can an act performed by the chotzer be attributed to the ganav? Ein shliach l'var avera. Amar Avina, great question, but there is room for distinction. Remember, the chotzer is inanimate, right? Is not responsible for his deeds, so to speak. So here it's different. When do we say the ein shliach l'var avera? When do we say this idea? When you ask somebody to do something for you, and the shliach himself is a responsible person, he's a bar chiyuvo. So then, don't blame it on me. Take the blame on yourself. But if you ask your chotzer to do it for you, of course you're responsible, because the chotzer is not going to take responsibility. You are. So that's why it's different. Elamiyata. Okay, so now based on this idea, that if the shliach is not a responsible individual, then the mishaleach is responsible, is guilty. Let's say a person turns to an isha, ve'eved or slave, tzu ginvali, go steal from me. So here as well, the eved and the isha who steal, they're patur. Rashi brings the Gemara and Bava Kama that if they harm, if they do all these things, they don't have to pay. So when I ask them to do it for me, they're not bar chiyuva in this role. Are you going to say that I'm responsible based on your, precept? That's a chiddush, right? Says the Gemara, no. Amr's answer is like this. Of course, they're technically responsible people. They're really b'nei chiyuva. Is a technical block here. They have no access to funds. So that's why temporarily they're not responsible for their deeds, for damages, for whatever they do. But theoretically, they are people that are responsible for their deeds. Right? It's not as we learned in the Mishnah. Let's say the Isha breaks a window while she's married. So currently she's patur. She has no funds of her own, but Nisgarsha Isha, if the Isha gets divorced, the Eved is released, Chayav l'shalom. We send them the bill. So that means that basically they are responsible for their deeds, just it's temporarily suspended. It's pending divorce or release. So that explains why if I asked one of them to break a window for me, you don't say, well, they're exempt, so I'm chayav. No, they're technically liable people, right? They're people that would be liable. So it's like any other situation of a ein shliach l'dvar avera where I'm not chayiv. Okay, so getting back to the question, how could we use a chatzar for avera? Meaning, why is the ganav responsible? Because here the chatzar is totally inanimate. He's not responsible for his deeds, and therefore we can't say, well, you should have listened to Hashem, right? It's not applicable. So here the ganav is chayiv. If someone comes and answers another teretz to explain why the ganav is chayiv when his chatzar did the gneva for him. Heicha amrinan ein shliach d'var. When do we say shliach d'var does not work? Heicha the iboy avid, iboy lo yavid. When the shliach has a choice in the matter, you can choose to do or not to do. So it's your decision, it's your choice, your problem. Aval chatzar the bal korche. But a person's property, which is serving him against, without bechira, against the chatzar's will, so to speak, bal korche, right? He's putting it against the chatzar's will. He's not asking permission. So here, it's all attributed to the ganav. So we have two roots. Either sort of a halachic criterion that the chatzar is not a bar chiyuva, or more of a technical, physical thing that the chatzar doesn't really have a role to play here. It's not taking part in the act. It's being forced upon him. My b'nayu. So regarding a chatzar, both concepts work and explain the halacha. But is there any case that you can find that one of these elements would apply to the other one not? Here comes a case. Kayin the Amrle the Yisrael say v'kadosh leisha grusha. Imagine a Kayin turns to a Yisrael. Yisrael can marry, divorce, but a Kayin can't. He asks the Yisrael, please go be mekadosh for me, be my shliach to give a kedushin to the Isha who's a grusha. So here we have a case where the mishtalech is a kohen who cannot really be partaking in this. It's an isser for him, but the shliach is not a bar chiyuva with respect to marrying a grusha. So as Rashi points out, there's an isser to do kiddushin even on a grusha. Who's responsible? The kohen, the mishtalech, or the shliach, the Yisrael, who brought it about? So it depends. We had two reasons, right? Two exemptions to the rule of ein shliach dvar aver. Two cases where the shliach the mishalech would take responsibility. Either if the shliach is inanimate, it's being forced upon him, so that doesn't apply in this case because it's a Yisrael, it's a person who's doing the kedushin. But the first svara would apply. Only the kohen is asur in this. Yisrael is mutter, so the Yisrael is not responsible for this. Inami, another case can be involving an ish, a man turns to a woman and asks her to give a youngster, a boy, a haircut, and remove his payas, akfili katan. Hakafa is a term used to describe removal of payas. It's sort of drawing a circle around the head, removing the corners of the payas. So here, once again, we have a similar case where the mishalech, the ish, the sender, is not allowed to be doing this to the katan. But the isha has no isra of hakafas haroish. Rashi says, hakafas haroish, removal of payas is related to removal of beard. Both are not applicable to the isha. So now, lahach lishna the amar, kolecha diboy avid, diboy loy avid. So the question is, who's chayav, the isha or the ish, the mishalech? So according to the second criterion, which is, it depends whether the shliach is making a choice in the matter. If he wants, he does. If he doesn't want, he doesn't do it. In that case, the shliach takes responsibility and not the mishaliach. Hachinam here as well. In both cases that we just discussed, the shliach is a fully cognizant, mature individual. He's fully in control of the situation, can choose to do, can choose not to do. So in both cases, the Mishalech is potter. It's your deed, not mine. But lahach lishna, the amras. Kalecha, the shliach labar chayuva, mechayiv sholchay. But according to the other pshat, the first pshat, that it depends upon whether the shliach shares responsibility in this case, whether he's part of the isser. Kalecha, the shliach labar chayuva, mechayiv sholchay. When the shliach has no problem proceeding, he's not usher in this particular act. So in that case, we do not attribute blame to the shliach, rather, mechayiv sholchay, the mishalech is responsible. Haninamis, likewise in these two cases. The Yisrael doing the kedushin on the grusha, the isha removing the payas of the katan, kiva de lab nechiyuvinin, in both cases, they're not responsible for these things, mechayiv sholchay, so the sender is chayiv. Okay, so bottom line, we discussed the concept of a chotzer. According to Rish Lakish, it's related to shlichus. According to Rabbi Yochanan, to yad. Nafkamina was about a katana. Katana has yad, but not shlichus. Should be kind of something in her chotzer. Asks the Gemara, Umikul Amanda Omar, is there anybody that holds chotzer lavashim yadis rabbi, that the chotzer is not related to yad, it's not a subset of yad? V'atanya. We have a brayso yada, right? So you place the get, nasan biyada, put it in her hands. Eilan liyada, perhaps only her hands. What about her property? Gaga, chatzera, v'karfifa minayin. Does it work? Tamleim v'nasam kol moker. Rashi says, it could have said ubiyada yitneu. In her hands you'll place it. It says v'nasan, right? Right to get v'nasan, which means anywhere that belongs, even her territory, her property. Bottom line, her chatzar is considered a type of yad, personal domain, not a shliach. Answers the Gemara, you're right. Linin get kuli amalei pligid the chatzar b'shem yadis rabbi. You're right. Pertaining to get, all agree. We have a drasha that chatzar is a step higher, is a notch up. It's like yad. It's like her personal domain, and therefore by ektana. You can give her a get even in her chatzar. Just like she has yad, she has chatzar. Ki pligi lini metzia. Machlekes between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish is only pertaining to a yad, to a ktana, trying to be kaina metzia, which is not mentioned in this pasuk, right? So Mar Sava Yalfinon Metzia Meget. Rabbi Yochanan says, look, we equate acquisition of a lost item, of a metzia, to the acquisition of a get. Just like by the get, the ktana has it, likewise by metzia. Whereas Rish Lakish says you can't compare monetary issues, metzia, to get. By get, the Torah says she has this ability to extend herself into her chatzar, but not by metzia. By Yisayim, another option, we have several options coming up till the Mishnah, by Yisayim, another possibility is that B'ktana kuliyamali pligid delfina metzia meget. There's no machlekes, all agree that by Ktana, just as she has the chatzar as yad, by get, likewise, we treat the chatzar as yad by metzia, and she has a kinyan in her chatzar for metzia as well. The question is by a minor, a boy who's under bar mitzvah. That's the machlekes. Mar sova yafina katan mektana, or mar sova lo yafina katan mektana. One shita says, just as a ktana has this ability, a katan as well. We learn the ish from the isha, and the other shita says no. The Torah grants the ktana the ability to be kind with her chatzah, but not the katan. You say another pshat can be mar machada or mar machada v'lei pligi. There's no machlekes at all between Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yehuda. Each one was speaking about a different situation. For instance, you can say, Rabbi Yehuda says it works, he's talking about a ktana. Rish Lakish, about a katan. Or you can say, both are going on the ktana. Rabbi Yehuda was speaking about a get, we have a pasuk that it works, and Rish Lakish was talking about a metzia, so it doesn't work. Okay, let's summarize today's daf. We discussed the machlekes. By Bava Metzia l'chaveri, do we allow you to do it? Or we say, no, it's like b'teifes l'bal chay, v'mokim shechav l'acher, and it doesn't work. Right? So Nachman says, Rav Chizah says it doesn't work. Rabbi Yehuda says it does work. And Tosfos points out that even if you would say, Bava Metzia teifes l'bal chay, if it doesn't work, but here perhaps it's different because, here, the fellow who finds a metzia has the ability to take it for himself. So instead of taking it for myself, I'm giving it to you. Being kind-hearted, giving it to you, therefore it works. We have two halachas from Rish Lakish b'shem Abba Kohen Bartla. Firstly, Arba Amish L'Adam Kohen Shloi. The Gemara says it only works if he wants it to work, and only in certain locations, like Rosh Hashanah or the side street, depending on the shitas here. We have the second halacha regarding a ktana using a chatzar for kinyan. We have a machlekes, and we have several ways to explain the machlekes. We have a distinction between metzia and get, between katan and ktana. All the best to you, and atzlacha rabba.